Hi, it's David from Life with Parkinson's. If you're new here, welcome. I hope you'll consider subscribing. And everybody else, thank you for coming back and watching another episode. Today we have a special episode. Special in that I have had so many messages, comments, and inquiries about the carnivore diet and how it affects Parkinson's disease and if it's good for them. So we're going to talk about that today based on objections I have about the carnivore diet and how through research I have found the answers that I was looking for. Okay, the first thing that came to mind when I thought about the carnivore diet was, where the heck do you get your vitamin C? Like, come on. When we're all raised on an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Oh, and all the resources I have used are in the description below. Feel free to check them out, and I've sorted them out to each objection. And I thought scurvy. Scurvy was always a big problem when there's like a famine, or particularly in the Navy. That's the first thing that comes to me. Avast ye mateys, if we don't have scurvy, we're not in the Navy. That's what I first thought about when I looked at the carnivore diet. I was like, come on, you've got to be kidding me. But I found through research that there are many organs in the animals, like beef, goats, lamb, chicken, lots of different animals that they eat in the carnivore diet. I found out that the thymus has one of the highest concentrations of vitamin C in many of the animals in the carnivore diet. And there's also different organs as well. So instead of an apple a day, a thymus a day keeps the doctor away. Okay, once I dealt with the vitamin C issue, I was like, okay, now you can't tell me that an animal has vitamin K1 and K2. Like critical vitamins that we need for overall health, not to mention all the other ones. You know, vitamin A, B, C, D, E, it just seems the list goes on for the whole alphabet almost. So basically what I found in the carnivore diet is that you need to eat your animal from nose to tail and everything in between. And to do that, you really need to learn the anatomy of an animal. I'm just going to help you out with the anatomy here. The foot bone's connected to the leg bone's connected to the knee bone's connected to the thigh bone, doing the skeleton dance, wah, wah, wah. Like, you need to eat from a wide variety of animals. We're not just talking cattle, we're talking goats, sheep, lambs, chicken, turkey. So basically, all the four-legged animals that are edible, all the poultry that's edible, goose, ducks, quail, everything in between, and all the seafood that's edible. So you can get all the nutrients that you need from all the different animals. For someone that likes to eat meat, this is a great diet because it's very varied what you can eat, and we're eating everything. That's literally everything. You got to eat everything edible from the animal to get everything that you need. And yes, that means beef broth and bone broth and the thymins and all the organs. So I can just picture this in my head, right? A family sitting down for dinner at the carnivore diet, and the parents are like, I'm just going to use my own name. The parents are like, David, stop playing with your beef lungs. They're not balloons. They are full of vitamin C and you need to eat them. Hey, I'm not kidding. You really do need to eat the animal from toe to tail to get everything you need. The next objection I have for the carnivore diet is it expensive? Yes. And the carnivore diet doesn't deny that. It is expensive. You know, look at me, a big guy like me, I'm around 230 pounds. I would need like 2 to 3 pounds of meat or meat products per day to keep my hunger levels down and to keep healthy. And I'm only going to look at this from a Canadian point of view because I live in Canada. So I emailed the Canadian Cattle Association and asked if a large number of adults in Canada adopted the carnivore diet, would there be enough meat to supply the need? Oh, and I also asked what would happen to the price of meat. The current supply of meat and meat products, and I'm including everything in the carnivore diet here, all the fish in the ocean and all the birds, is there enough to supply the need if enough people adopted the carnivore diet today? No, there is not. So the price of meat would skyrocket. Meat and meat products would go up temporarily quite a bit until supply caught up with demand. So there is that consideration. If you're looking at doing this, yes, the price of meat would go up. It would skyrocket if enough Canadians went on the diet overnight. One of the next things I thought of after the vitamin C issue was, is it environmentally friendly? So Canada has one of the most environmentally friendly practices of cattle ranching in the world. And it is sustainable and economical. It produces a large amount of labor. This is from the Cattle Association of Canada. We should be rest assured that it would not destroy our water table, and they use land that is not suitable for other things like growing crops. So there is a lot of conscientious planning going into the Canadian model of cattling, and I'm only going to talk about Canada. And one of the big things for the Cattle Association of Canada is to have a small carbon footprint, to leave the ranch in better shape than when they received it for the next generation, and everything is produced in environmentally, socially, sustainable, economical fashion. One thing that was important for me was that, is the carnivore diet neuroprotective? Because I have a neurodegenerative disease. And when I looked up the research studies, I was quite surprised, and I found that yes, beef is neuroprotective. Beef can increase the amount of glutathione in your brain. And these things just blew me away, because I had been raised to think that beef was the evil meat, really. Right? It causes cancer, it causes heart problems, it causes high cholesterol. And when I looked into it, I was like, wow, I had no idea that beef was neuroprotective. Another thing people in the Parkinson's community are getting really excited about is the interview with Mimi Morgan, where that nice lady shared her life story and explained how through the carnivore diet, all her Parkinson's symptoms went away. And I think that is great, and I hope they stay away. We've got to remember that Parkinson's is not a one-size-fits-all sort of disease. We need other people reporting this as well. So if you have had that experience, I ask you that you reach out and report it, because we as a community need to know the facts, definitely. Okay, one more thing I wanted to add about the carnivore diet, apart from eating all the spectrum, is that you only drink water and that you eliminate sugar. And for me, that is a good thing, because that's all I pretty much drink now is water, besides decaf coffee, and my sugar intake is reduced by like 99%. So I totally agree with that. My last objection to the carnivore diet that it was not able to defeat for me is that protein interferes with my Parkinson's medications. It really, really does. Like, I have to limit my protein during the day. I have to keep it as far away from my pills as possible. So on the carnivore diet, what you do is you eat until you are full, and you eat when you're hungry. For me, that does not work at all. I need to eat when it's scheduled, and I need to eat within that time window, or my Parkinson's meds get screwed up. And that affects my health a lot. So the meal planning and timing does not work. And the reason it doesn't, because the Parkinson's medications take the same pathways as the protein does, especially the dopamine that goes to the brain. And the protein always kicks out the medication. It wins every time. And the other objection that the carnivore diet isn't able to clear up for me is the cost. I cannot afford to compete for the meat and meat products, especially if a large number of people signed up for the diet. There's no chance at all. So I've got to stick with the Mind diet, which is working well for me right now. For those who want to try the carnivore diet, please check with your health professional before switching over, especially if you have a neurological disease like Parkinson's. Find out how it's going to affect you. Okay, that's it for today. I hope you've enjoyed this little review. It's been a lot of fun for me to look into the carnivore diet, and I've really enjoyed researching this episode. It's just I can't deal with the two major objections about cost and medication interference. Let's continue to take this journey together. I'll see you on the next one. Have a good day. Goodbye.